Hello and welcome to Death is My Life podcast. I'm your hostess, Jolene, and today I have a guest with us. This is Katherine.
Hi.
Hello. Okay, I don't know how to edit yet, so careful what you say.
Okay.
Okay. So, Katherine's here with us to talk about multiple things, but especially some experiences she's had with messages from beyond, I'll say.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, well, let's just jump into it. Why don't you tell us about your experiences?
Okay, so I do like to explain that I believe that signs are constant. It's just whether or not you're open to seeing them. I find that when I'm less distracted and more at ease with no stress, the signs are much more apparent. I believe a lot of my signs come from dreams I've had, but also it could be as small as numbers or anything you see in the wild could be a sign from somebody on the other side. And yeah.
Cool. Do you have like a recurrent sign in your life?
No.
Interesting.
Not that I can think of.
I actually do.
Okay.
And it's so funny because I think that you're into, like, I always, you look at other people and it's different, but I always think, like, oh, Katherine has, like, this really intense intuition, which you do. And I don't think that about myself, but I have all the time, I see Grandpa's initials on license plates.
Yes.
Hardcore, all
Big
the time.
one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then tennis balls.
Oh, yeah.
Ever since I asked for a sign from the universe, I've been seeing tennis balls.
Totally.
Is so funny because that's like well, Catherine's my sister.
Yes. Yeah.
And Grandpa, tennis balls. So I see those things.
Yeah, I would say numbers 555. A friend of mine who has passed away, that was his numbers he was known for, and so I do see that a lot. But I don't feel like I've had too many experiences with signs from people that I've asked for. I think I'm gifted in the way that somebody will come forward that I'm not asking for.
And they just make it super apparent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially in the dreams, it is directly from them because I can picture them.
Cool. Well, I know that two of your big experiences were with some elderly people that you had been working with and were quite bonded with. You want to talk about those?
Yeah. So one in particular, this happened kind of in the beginning of my caregiving experience, and I wouldn't say I was even that close with the resident who had passed, but it was such a beautiful experience. I got to share it with the family, and for reasons I'm not going to use the resident's real name, so that's out of the picture, but I had a dream one night. We had a resident, and she was 100 years old, and she was, very active until the end. Anyway, so I had a dream one night, and it was of the resident. We'll call her Lola. And she was walking down the street carrying 2 suitcases in her hands, and she was kind of hunched over in posture and walking down and so then I stopped her. I said, "Oh, where are you going?" And clear as day, she said, "I'm taking the train to the coast." And I said, "Oh, wow," and then she said, "You can come with me if you'd like," which is very normal of her to have asked. "Oh, would you like to sit with me?" She always wanted you kind of around. So she said, "You could come with me if you'd like." I said, "No, I can't come with you to the coast. I have to go to work." And she said, "Okay." And I watched her climb onto the train, and she waved from the window with this big smile on her face. And I'm getting choked up because it was so cute. So then
don't worry. This is her basement. She chokes up.
I'm very emotional. It's good emotions. But so then she's waving and she, waves from the window and her little head and her big smile. And the very next morning I woke up and I texted my sisters and I said, I just had, for record, I had this dream and it was so special. And the morning I woke up, I told my husband about the dream. It was so amazing. Within that hour of me waking up from that dream, I found out she had passed away.
Ooh,
which was such a cool, special, I got a special goodbye, right?
That's so special.
Yeah, and then the next, I kind of brought up the courage to talk to the family after I got to see them when they started kind of moving her stuff out. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to share it because, it's kind of a sad time for people and that. And I didn't want to cross any boundaries, but I said, can I share this dream I had? And I explained the dream, how she was smiling and waving and heading to the coast. And the family really appreciated me sharing that, and she thought it was she said, I'm so happy she said goodbye to you.
That is so sweet. Yeah, you have to kind of read, I know, with like those things that could be considered like woo-woo,
Yeah, totally.
Like our grandma would have been like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But a lot of the families do appreciate it, and it's
I think it also shows how much I'm not just a caregiver. Like, I spend a lot of time with people's families, almost more than they do sometimes, because you're with them every day. And I think me personally, if my family was in that position, I would love to hear that I had that, that you've had those experiences.
I would too. Like, she felt comfortable coming to you too, which is so sweet.
Yeah. That was a big one, and that was very direct, I would say.
Yeah. And how, like, do you feel like it was just a dream, or did you feel like it was real, or did you feel sad? How did you feel?
I almost immediately knew that she had passed.
Yeah.
Because I said, she was waving goodbye. And then, of course, the woo-woo in me, I considered, what if I had said yes and gone to the coast with her?
Yeah.
What would have happened? It would have been such a different experience, but I knew maybe it wasn't my time.
Yeah. That was so sweet. She went to the train station, like they say on...
to the coast.
I'm just kidding. She wasn't.
Yeah.
That was so sweet. I do remember you telling us that, and we're like, oh, well, the thing is, she passed away.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, I knew it.
That was a big one. I think that was maybe the time that I kind of embraced it and thought, oh, maybe this is something I could channel. And since then, I've had only 2 other experiences with dreams regarding residents. And like I said earlier, I don't get to choose. Of course, I would love a visit dream from grandma and grandpa or anybody, but I don't get to choose. It comes as it is. But the interesting thing too is in other dreams, I don't even think I dream about other people. Like, but with them, it was so directly that person. It wasn't like, oh, I kind of feel like it was that person. No, it was absolutely that person.
Just stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything you do to develop your intuition to allow these experiences to happen?
Yeah, I do think many years ago I started writing a dream journal, and it was just as the dreams would come, I just quickly jot it down in a journal. And I think by doing that for, years, it has allowed me the muscle memory to remember the dreams. I read somewhere that is, a good tool if you're trying to remember your dreams, because sometimes you don't. But I think by writing them down, it really kind of honed in the muscle memory of that. So I would say journaling was a good one.
Yeah.
And then also just lifestyle changes too really heightened my dream, heightened the dreams and remembering the dreams. I feel like when you're in a good place in your life, you can retain more. Versus if you're in an unhealthy fight or flight survival mode, you're not really retaining the dreams like you would.
Yeah, definitely. Or hearing the messages because your mind might be
Altered,
chattering.
yeah,
Distracted.
exactly.
Oh, or the altered, yeah. Clear mind.
Yeah.
You might experience more.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Did you have any other experiences like that?
I have another dream. I made a note so I wouldn't forget. Okay, so this actually wasn't a dream. This was a message, and it was such a small message that I could, maybe it's a coincidence, but again, I don't really believe in coincidences, and the timing and everything,
I
it
think
was
it's
just
coincidi.
okay. Yep.
I
All
don't
right,
know.
I'll remember that. And so one night I was eating dinner with my husband, normal night. We're sitting across from each other, not talking about anything in particular, and the light flickered. And out of my mouth, no filter, no plan, I said, "Oh, Rita died." And he said, "What? And who's Rita? And what are you talking about?" And again, I'm not using my residents' names for privacy reasons, but so he's like, "I don't understand who that, what are you talking about?" And sure enough, within the hour, she had passed. And it was just that simple. Yes, she was on the decline. Maybe it was a faulty light bulb, but to me, it was clear as day, enough for me to verbalize it out loud to my husband, who is kind of used to me in those ways, but was still shocked for some reason.
Oh yeah, and like she didn't come to you, you didn't visualize her, you just knew instantly.
I just knew it was
That's
her.
so
Yeah,
cool.
that was a weird one. And then I had one other dream was, and it's so funny because a lot of these, maybe the dream has nothing to do with what I know of the resident who had passed. Again, I don't really know her lifestyle from her past or whatever. But so I had a dream one night that a resident, we'll call her Greta, we broke her out of the hospital, and it was so symbolic of a one last hoorah, right?
Yeah.
And so we broke her out, and she was in a hospital gown, and we were just in the parking lot of the hospital. We didn't make it very far for the last hoorah, but we were dancing around the parking lot, smoking cigarettes. And I don't even think she was a smoker, but it was just so cute that it was, okay, here we go. And she was so lively and, comfortable and free. And then same thing, within that next day or the same day, she had passed. Wow. And I thought, okay, well, that was her last hoorah, and I definitely got to experience it with her. And that, those are the dreams I've had so far with the work I'm doing. But I think they're very symbolic. Yeah.
Yeah. I do think that's symbolic. I remember one time so as a hospice nurse, I usually work, like, sometimes I see people I've never met before because I'm like an after hours support kind of person. So I went to this house. I remember it was so stormy, and I like drove super far through the storm, and I got there and they're like, "What are you doing driving?" And I was like, "Well, I'm here to support you."
Right.
And they were like just so welcoming, and it was so nice. We're just like sitting there, probably drinking some tea or something, waiting for the funeral home to get there to remove the body. Well, we're all sitting around this table, I remember this, and the lights flicker, and the family just looks at me and they're like, "Yeah, they've never done that before." And I was like, "Oh, well, cool."
Exactly.
And then I looked up at the clock and I'm like, "Oh, you guys, look at, like, the clock stopped at the time that you told me he died, and they told me that clock has never worked. He bought it
Oh.
like secondhand, and it's never worked.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that is so, whoa. Chills.
So strange.
That's cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
I wonder what they did with that clock.
I wonder.
That's so cool. See? And for you to have not noticed that, maybe the family wouldn't have ever put 2 and 2 together. You know?
Totally.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. See, those are the distractions. If you're not distracted to notice, oh, wow, that's the same time, you know?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's such a cool story.
I know. There's so many of them. Hence the podcast. We're going to go on and on and on.
I know. I know.
I know. I love those signs from the universe or the person who passed. I don't know who's sending them, but their messages for sure.
Yeah, I do have a book recommendation.
Let's hear it.
It's called Signs.
Signs.
I'm gonna look up the author real quick.
You'll have to send it to me, and I'll look it up because my pen died. So
okay.
I'm taking notes, but not really.
It is called The Secret Language of the Universe, Signs.
Who's the author?
Laura Lynn Jackson. And this is a great book. It is just short stories of stories just like that, where there's a number or, you know, and I mean, they're tear jerkers. It is such a good book, but it kind of helped me to see, oh, anything. I mean, if you're asking, anything could be a sign, but also if you're paying attention, that's when you really start seeing it. And like, I don't know coincidences, but there's definitely, it's out there. So yeah, that's a really good book.
Cool.
And no pressure, because it's such short stories, you know, just a couple pages. And
they're like feel good.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah.
It's very sweet.
You know what? This is so weird. On the way over here, well, it's not weird. It's what we're talking about. On the way over here, I was behind like a big van. I'm trying to manifest a van for my office space.
Okay.
Like a mobile office. So I'm like really, you know, hyper vigilant of all these vans. I'm like, oh, that would be a good one, or that one. You know, so I'm like, oh, cool van. And then I was right behind it, and right at eye level was the phone number for whatever the van business was. And it was like almost like a number, like one number off from my friend Jessica, who had passed away like a few years ago when I was pregnant. Oh. And it was like almost identical to her phone number. Yeah. And I really haven't actually got any messages that I relate to her until just today on my way here to record a podcast about this.
Thanks, Jessica.
Yes.
I know you're so proud of Jolene.
I know.
Yeah, I know. See?
I really do think like these signs are really important for helping the grief process, because you're like like death, you know, I remember Mom just saying like death is so final. Like it feels like that, like you can't touch them, but then you get this message and you're like, holy moly, like they're not dead, like they're somewhere else. They really are. I do think that too. And yeah, it feels very final, and for a long time it feels very final, but then even with the signs, it's not easy. Yeah, and then once you kind of, when you least expect it is when you start getting the signs, and then more comfortable with the fact that it's not as final as we all think. Exactly. We're so lucky that our parents are still with us, and I feel like when Dad passes, he's gonna haunt the crap out of us. Oh my gosh, he's never gonna leave us alone. He is so clingy. I'm telling you. We're like, Dad, go. I know. Enough. Goes to Dad. Bye. Dad, sorry, it's a girls' night. You can't be here. Yeah, I know. Oh, it's frightening to think that way, but it is that is. It's gonna, you know, it's gonna come. I believe in that for sure. Yeah. So, okay, well, let's wrap it up. But I do want to know, what is some advice you have for listeners who may be experiencing similar things or messages, and kind of not knowing what to do with them, or maybe playing them off as a coincidence.
Yeah. Well, one, I feel like in nature is such a good time to ask for signs. Um, it seems silly, like, oh, okay, like usually, okay, anytime, this is a tool that I use. When I find something special, to me, when I'm on a hike and I find a feather, yeah, of course, birds live in nature. That's where you're going to find feathers. But I try to be so present that as soon as I find that feather, I try to think, what was it that I was just thinking of when I found the feather?
Oh, that's really smart.
Yeah. And so usually you can kind of backtrack. You say, oh, I was just kind of daydreaming about this thing. And then I found the feather. And so then that really solidifies that thought for me. That's a big one. I think writing them down, even if you don't think it's a big sign or it's a coincidence, just write it down, and then I think you'll see a pattern as you see more. Oh, wow, I've apparently seen lots of pine cones in this area for this, and I think you'll start to see patterns in that.
Looking for patterns, yeah.
Yeah.
One of them.
I think, and you can't control it. So if you're asking a question and the sign's not coming, well, that's too bad. You got to just try something else, or instead of trying to pinpoint, oh, I really need this sign from grandma, you're maybe missing signs from other people when you're focusing on one thing. But yeah, I think that just writing them down, just paying more attention, and again, working on your lifestyle and making sure that you have a healthy, clear mind is what really helped me a lot. I was less stress, and everything like that really helps you to see things more clearly.
I love that. Okay, so keeping a clear mind, looking for the signs and receiving them without forcing them, and nature.
Yeah, nature's a good one. That's always a fun one because you never know what you're going to find. But then, and maybe it has no sign with it, or maybe you really weren't thinking of anything when you found it, but it'll come to you later.
Or maybe it could be in like a weird spot too, like right in your path, or like a funky looking feather, and you're like, what is this from?
Exactly. Yeah, it's really out there.
Or even a picture of a feather might just like pop up on your Facebook ad or something. Like you never know how they're gonna come.
I know.
Just opening your mind to it, I think, is helpful.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I think it's fair to ask for a general sign when you need one. You know, like if you ask for one from a specific person, that may not come. But if you ask like generally, like, hey, universe, I really am missing this person. Can you give me a sign that this person's okay? Something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think that's when I recognized the tennis ball as a sign. Was, I had like, I had two younger kids back to back, and really took a lot of, like, me personally, I was like not spiritual at all during that time, and I was like, oh my gosh, these kids, like being
survival.
Pregnant. I'm in survival mode. I'm like kind of sort of coming out of that now, still there.
Yep.
But it was like, I don't know, like maybe 6 months ago, and I'm like, I need to get like spiritual. I'm feeling crazy. And so I went to the river, the super peaceful river. Not a soul was there. And I just closed my eyes. I asked the universe like for a sign, and I was like, but please don't let it be something spooky. Like I really don't think I'm in a place where I could like see a ghost like figure.
Totally.
So I closed my eyes, and I was like kind of scared to open them, and then I was like, try and keep them closed as long as possible, because like meditating is really hard. Sitting still is super hard. When I opened them, I kid you not, right in the dead center of my view, down the super rushing fast river, was a bright orange brand new tennis ball.
Cool.
And I was like, what the heck? Like,
where did that come from?
Nobody around. It's not like all worn out like a dog was playing with it. It's just so random. And if I would have opened my eyes a split second on either end, I would have missed it totally.
Cool. Yeah.
So then I'm like, oh, okay.
And did you know in that moment who the message was from?
Oh, yeah. So grandpa, yeah, because our grandpa would he was a tennis ball fanatic. I'm not kidding, not just tennis. Like, he would watch tennis, he would play tennis, he would use tennis balls for everything.
The stop for the car, for the garage door was a tennis ball. All of the surfaces had tennis balls underneath them so they wouldn't scratch the wood.
Yeah, so slide easier.
Tennis balls were,
corners.
And
so
he always had the containers of tennis balls everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
So
and
true.
I think in that first week, I actually got 3 tennis balls. I had ordered some nail polish. This is so weird. Actually, this was the same day. My nail polish came in a little kit with a pink tennis ball in it.
Oh my God.
Why the heck is there a pink tennis ball in with my nail polish? It was the weirdest,
That's so funny.
randomest.
Yes. Yeah, that's a funny sign.
That's how the signs work.
That is
random. You just have to listen.
I know.
But not force them. I do feel like you could be oh, this feather and this feather and this feather.
I know.
But you kind of know when it's a sign versus when it's a feather. Do you feel?
I have a funny story, and I hope it doesn't hurt anybody's feelings.
Well, I don't know how to edit, so it's going in there, like it or
The
not.
only person it would offend is our sister, so it's okay.
Well,
one time...
We'll block her from this episode.
Maybe we should. Maybe I shouldn't share. I'm not going to share. I'll tell you later.
Tell me after. I'm going to stop the recording. And if I deem it appropriate for the podcast,
we'll re-record it.
Or maybe that can be for my subscribers only. Well, you should. My Patreon.
Yeah. Or maybe you should ask her to, because it was a good sign for her story. So I guess maybe that would be a good one. I'll have her tell the story here.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that would be better.
Okay.
But yeah, that's I love signs. I love them so much.
Me too. Anything you want to share before we close out here?
I don't.
Oh, you know what? Let's real quick talk about your business, Katherine. So Katherine has a beautiful business, which is totally pertinent because she takes death and makes it into beautiful art.
Thank you. Yes, I could talk about bones forever.
Okay.
It was just a quirky little collection that I started. But the more I worked with it, I realized how taboo it was. I didn't think it was at all because coming from our family, my dad collects bones. Everybody, it was so normal to us. But some people get kind of squeamish about that. Let me explain. These are animal bones. I'm not a hunter. I'm a scavenger. And while I'm out on hikes and stuff, I used to find all these bones. Anyway, so I thought, how can I turn this into art? But I think the contrast, for instance, I like to pair the dried, brittle bones with the life of live flowers, let's say, so there's the contrast between the living and the dead. And
can you tell we're sisters?
And I don't know. And it's kind of fun to see it would surprise you who's interested in it. I make anything from, painting skulls, painting pictures of skulls paired with flowers, like I said. I make bone wind chimes. I think it's a nice way of honoring the animal who's passed and allowing them to be a piece of art that is appreciated. And believe it or not, a lot of these things, they just go back into the land, right? Or they stay kind of in a pile somewhere. And I thought, okay, well, I could take this and make it beautiful and give this life one more ride,
So cool.
So yeah, I do a lot of bone artwork and everything like that, but I do think it's to complement the living and dead together. And it's very fun.
And it's beautiful and unique, and oh my gosh, the wind chimes are such a unique, cool sound.
I know.
Bones clunking together. So yeah. Okay, well, I'll put a link to your Instagram in the show notes.
Thank you. Yes,
then
we
listeners can check you out.
our name is Coyote and Wolf. Oh no, it's Wolfhound and Coyote Creations. We're working on the name, but yes, Wolfhound and Coyote Creations. It's a company my husband and I are starting, and it's just our art. And he practices primitive skills and lithic art, and I do mostly paintings and bone art. And that's
Lovely.
our thing. That's what we're into.
So fantastic.
Thanks.
And so perfect for this podcast.
Thank you.
I literally have a tattoo of a skull with flowers on it on my back, and my little cave painting of a mammoth on my arm. We're like so.
And I have a tattoo of a deer mandible on my arm. People ask, why do you have a jawbone tattooed on your arm? And I said, because it looks freaking cool.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
And it's like who you are. It's what you do now.
Yeah, it is what I've been doing it for a long time too. And I kind of forget, again, that it's weird to other people. Because to me it's so normal, to my husband it's so normal, to my friends it's so normal, but it has been over a decade of this bone styles.
Yeah. We just made a fairy house with my middle daughter, and my husband had he had saved the bones from the turkeys we ate last year.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so we got to decorate the bones. We put them on the fairy house.
Cute.
So
See,
cute.
those turkeys would be so proud.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, poor turkeys.
I love
R.I.P.
it.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's do this all the time.
Let's do it all the time.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
Me too. Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.